There's a really, really weird noise coming from up there.
On May 22nd, 2025, solo adventurer Eleanor Grace documented a trip into Dartmoor, England that quickly shifted from a peaceful swim into a deeply unsettling experience. Her destination was a hidden quarry, a remote pool of dark, still water surrounded by towering stone walls.
Beautiful grey evening in the middle of Dartmoor. Whilst I was checking out my All Trails app, I came across this place, and it's an old mining quarry. Now, I'm not too sure if it's this one. People have said that it's a very unusual and cool looking place to go for a wild swim. You know me, right? I'm gonna do it. I've brought the stuff with me in my backpack to do that. Yeah, I do think it's down there. I'm gonna check it out anyway. Yeah, this definitely looks quarry-like, doesn't it? What a hidden gem. It's quite eerie, actually. Yeah, I don't... Hello? Hello? Yeah, I don't think that there is anyone else here. It's a little bit cold. It's not too bad, though. There are a lot of tadpoles and everything around me, and like little lizardy type things. There's a really, really weird noise coming from up there. I don't know if someone's wild camping and pumping up something, because that's what I can hear. It sounds like that, either that or it's extremely loud, heavy panting. It is pretty eerie when you're on your own. It's getting very cold. I think it's time I get out. That was a bit risky then, trying to keep my towel around me. I did keep hearing that noise, so I don't know what it was. It could have been an animal.
The atmosphere felt heavy from the beginning. Despite a strong sense of unease, Eleanor entered the water only to hear a chilling sound echoing from the cliffs above. It was rhythmic and unnatural, resembling heavy labored breathing or a steady mechanical pulse. There was no visible source, no hikers, no wildlife, only the sound lingering over the water. Alarmed by the feeling of being watched, Eleanor rushed out and tried to leave, but the moor quickly became difficult to navigate.
Where's the car park? It's in the distance over there. No, how do I get down? Where the hell is the car? Oh God, ah! Oh. Whoa. I just put my foot in that. I'm gonna try and get over there. They're everywhere. It's the only way there. I'm like checking it all now. Oh my God. This is up to my thighs. Okay, so that's the stream. The car is underneath those trees. Cool. Oh, we're quite late. And I've still got a bit of driving to do. I do not like driving on Dartmoor at night. The amount of animals everywhere, and you have to be extremely careful. It's 11:15. I'm in the car tonight, parked on my dad's driveway. My dad lives on the outskirts of Dartmoor, and I really didn't want to risk parking up there and getting the knock.
She lost her direction repeatedly, sinking thigh deep into freezing bogs. The footage shows her growing panic as she searched for her car across the empty, featureless landscape. Eventually, Eleanor made it back to safety, but she was too shaken to continue her planned camp. Instead, she returned to her father's home nearby, choosing the security of a locked vehicle over the isolation of the moor. The experience serves as a reminder that instinct can often sense what the eyes cannot. When something inside tells you that you're not alone in the wilderness, is it just fear, or is something actually there? Have you ever felt it? On June 20th, 2020, the YouTube channel Outdoor Boys documented a family camping trip to a remote, uninhabited island that quickly revealed the unsettling force of a landscape reclaiming itself. What began as a fun outing for Luke, his wife, and their 3 sons soon turned into a series of intense encounters.
Well, guys, you can see this is a very flat island and a very windy island. If it wasn't for this grass, these small piles of sand would blow away. So it's really important to not harm the grass. So we're gonna set up right here, kind of a flat spot with no grass growing. This right here is the best tinfoil dinner ever. For me and Becca, I also have 2 well-seasoned filet mignon steaks here. We're gonna fry those up as well. What do you think, Mom? Is it good?
It's delicious.
All right, we'll start breaking down camp, putting everything away, and as soon as we're done with that, we're gonna go explore that abandoned house over there. And you can see this is part of the old seawall right here. Oh my goodness, look at all these crabs. Thousands and thousands of crabs. You can hear them scurrying. Look at all the crabs.
Yeah, there's a million of them. It feels like I'm touched off, but now
Yeah.
that must be what.
What is that, like a winnower?
It does look like bread.
Hey guys, check it out. It's a sink. Check it out, I can see a bunch of outbuildings and there's a big house with a large chimney over there. I think that's the mansion. All right, there's the big house. There's some more structure.
We have the party in it, and why don't they?
Oh, there's so many crabs over here. They're running around. No, it's dangerous. Even I'm not going inside. Pipes on the ceiling.
When it's cold, do I have to go?
Look, there's the house. We're getting close. The house is doing a lot better, isn't it? Look at this. Look at these big wooden pillars. This must have been a beautiful home. Floor is so spongy. Like, this could really drop. This could give way underneath me. Yeah, that's not safe. All right, guys, this is as far in as I go. I don't want to fall into the basement or have the roof fall on me or step on a nail. But that's cool in there.
With a place where signs of human presence had nearly disappeared. After a day of camping, they ventured further inland, greeted by the eerie rustling of thousands of crabs moving through the brush. That unsettling sound was only a warning of what lay ahead. Not long after, they came across a deteriorating mansion overtaken by vegetation, its rotted structure unstable and on the verge of collapse.
All right, we're just gonna eat a quick lunch and we're packing it up and we're out of here. I think if I had a death wish, I could grab on there and kind of shimmy up and try to go up. But yeah, that looks terribly sketchy. Look at this one's got like a concrete bunker on top. All 4 pieces of vertical angle iron are completely eaten through. The only thing keeping this from falling on us right now is those cables. I have no idea what these towers are for. They look like they're for spotting subs from World War II.
On their return, they chose to explore an old ruin, unaware of how much time had weakened it. A large steel watchtower stood nearby, reduced to a skeletal frame, its supports eaten away by corrosion and held upright only by thin, strained cables. The structure looked dangerously unstable, as if even a slight gust of wind could bring the rusted metal crashing down. Some viewers are drawn to the overwhelming power of nature to erase human history so quickly, while others find the decaying structures and swarming crabs deeply unsettling. It raises a difficult question: when nature fully takes back a place, how can we tell when it's no longer safe or meant for people to remain? On July 12, 2025, veteran adventure filmmaker Andrew Steampier White uploaded a striking video to his channel ASPW Experience. With more than 30 years of travel and documentary work behind him, Andrew has built a reputation for calm, rational storytelling. That background made what he captured during a camping trip in Zimbabwe even more unsettling, because even he, someone not prone to exaggeration, admitted he had no explanation for what appeared in the sky. The incident took place while Andrew, his wife, and their guide were camping along the shores of Lake Kariba.
Hello, my name is Andrew Steampier White. I am an adventure travel filmmaker. I've been doing this for over 30 years. And on a recent shoot in Zimbabwe, I witnessed something that I cannot explain. So I'm going to ask you in the comments to share with me what you think this might be. I'm not a kind of guy that is particularly into conspiracy theories, particularly when they're ridiculous. But I'm also interested in them when they have some validity. So I feel as I have a pretty open mind when it comes to this kind of thing. My mind can't open enough to explain what I saw. But the beauty of this is I photographed it. So what I'm going to show you now is there were 3 of us. My wife and our Zimbabwean guide, Graham Sharp. We were sitting The sun had long set. Everybody else was in their tents. We were sitting up having a sherry and looking at the night sky and just talking about stuff.
As night settled in, the group enjoyed a quiet evening under the stars when Andrew noticed something unusual.
I said, hang on a minute, that star just moved. Strange, must have been a figment of my imagination. A few minutes later, it definitely moved. And I said, whoa, guys, that star, and it was a particularly bright star, that star just moved. So we all looked at the star, and it moved. It moved down and left, and then turned off. Okay, it's a man-made thing. It looked like a star, and it was stationary in the sky, like stars are. Of course, they're not stationary, they move apparent to our location, which can be captured on a time-lapse camera. And guess what? I had a time-lapse camera running, and I realized, hey, whatever that was, my time-lapse camera is pointing in the right direction. I think it's going to be towards the left of frame, but I think that my time-lapse camera will capture this. Then what happened? Another star appeared, and then that one came back. It turned itself on. Stars don't turn themselves off and on. Like a switch. Click, it's gone. Click, it's back on again.
A bright point of light resembling a star suddenly changed position. It dimmed, vanished completely, and then reappeared. Andrew realized his time-lapse camera, already pointed at the night sky, might have captured the anomaly.
Now what I'm going to show you now is, because at that moment I said, hang on, I'm going to film this, and I got a camera and I faced it towards, it was very dark. The camera I'm using is pretty good in low light, but it's not magic. It did pick us up, and we started to discuss in real time what we were watching. The time lapse is not real time. Because it's so dark, each frame is 10 seconds. So the time-lapse camera would record and open its shutter, and each single frame, run at 25 frames per second in this case, is basically a 10-second exposure. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play back our discussion on the banks of Lake Kariba, Matusadona in Zimbabwe. We were facing almost due west, pretty much 270 degrees magnetic, give or take. And the sun had gone down in that location. There were a series of hills, and I'm going to now go through and try and match up the frames recorded with the time-lapse camera to what we were actually seeing at the time, and then I might cut in my thoughts now as I put this film together of what I think this phenomenon, well, I don't know what it is, but I have witnessed a few things. And one of the things I want you to notice straight away is that it is fairly obvious that the phenomenon was exo-atmospheric. It was not within our atmosphere, because our atmosphere is stationary in the frame.
When he reviewed the footage, it confirmed what they had seen. The light flickered in and out, and then more appeared beside it. 2, then 3, then 4. Star-like objects blinked in and out of view, moving in ways celestial bodies typically do not. To rule out normal explanations, Andrew compared the anomaly to a real airplane that passed through the same frame. The difference was clear. While the plane's lights followed a steady linear path, the unknown objects hovered, pulsed, and disappeared unpredictably. Their movement seemed to align with the stars during long exposure, suggesting they were positioned beyond Earth's atmosphere. The next night, he set up again. The same behavior.
We are filming this, folks, because we are witnessing a UFO right here. Now, there is a camera I set up about 2 hours ago, maybe a little less, over there before the moon came up, which is a time lapse. We watched a star, bright star, and it was quite bright, and it turned off. I noticed it turn off. Then it came back. Is it coming back? It's coming back.
It's coming back.
That. It's coming back.
It's moving.
Okay, it's
moving
moving
across the sky.
So now looking at through the binoculars,
Here's the second.
there is a
There's
second
the
one.
second one.
Second one below it. These are.
There's the third, and the fourth.
I'm not seeing the fourth, and the third, and the
Very
fourth.
bright.
They're
That one is very, very bright.
very bright.
That's been the brightest one.
Yes, the other two are coming in from the top.
Yes.
There are three of them coming in from the top.
Top. I caught a sight of the fourth one, and there it's
The
dimming
fourth one is
again.
dimming and going out. So they're pulsing, going brighter and they're moving. They're physically moving, but they look like stars, right? So they have the same. They even twinkle a bit, don't they? They twinkle.
Yeah, they twinkle,
They twinkle like a star twinkles. And there's
but they don't behave like stars
there's a
because
dance.
stars don't move like this.
No. There's a dance going in front of us, it's happening this very second live while the camera is filming us.
And it comes back.
We will look at the time-lapse footage and hope.
Appeared lights, blinking in and out, shifting across the sky and reflecting light after sunset.
Here is my logic. They're, as I said, out of the atmosphere, otherwise they wouldn't be moving with the stars, they would be stationary with the ground, Earth. So they're not drones or anything like that. We can discount that completely. So let's now assume that they are out of our atmosphere. What could they be? Remember, the sun has just set. So whatever they are, we are seeing reflected light. It's another reason why the light emanating from them is not consistent, sometimes much brighter than at other times, which suggests to me that they are not spherical, and that if they were flat and turned to reflect more light, they would appear brighter, but they're so far away that all we're seeing is a spot of light. And when not reflecting that much light back to us, and reflecting some, they are not reflecting as much light because they're not spherical. And if they are not spherical, then they are not natural. Or at least, asteroids and things like that are round. But asteroids and comets and things like that always move in a linear direction. They might change speed and things and appear to speed up, but they're affected by gravity, so they're moving in one direction. These were moving in all up, down, sideways, and varying in intensity, and then suddenly they would turn off, just gone. How do they turn off how do you turn off a reflection? You turn off a reflection by turning so that the side that is reflecting the light back is no longer reflecting the light back in your direction.
Based on how their brightness changed, Andrew suggested the objects were not spherical, unlike stars, comets, or meteors, but instead flat reflecting light depending on their angle. That ruled out known celestial objects as well as drones or satellites. There was no sound, no interference, and no clear explanation. Andrew's detailed footage eliminates many possibilities. They weren't stars, satellites, or aircraft. Their synchronized pulsing and irregular movement point to something beyond normal atmospheric or orbital behavior. Could they have been advanced technology reflecting sunlight, or something even harder to explain? If even a filmmaker with decades of experience around the world is left without answers, what does that suggest about what was really in the skies above Zimbabwe that night? Was it human technology we don't fully understand, or something far more extraordinary? After finishing work near Bournemouth, a camper set out in search of a place to stay for the night. With daylight fading quickly, he came across a stretch of woodland that seemed suitable. Although it was more populated than he would have liked, he continued on, determined to find a discreet spot before nightfall. Eventually, he selected a campsite positioned between two roads, close enough to hear passing vehicles, but far enough to avoid constant noise.
A bit extra protection, just in case the wind starts blowing through the side of the hammock. But anyway, if nothing else happens, I'll catch you in the morning.
As the rain began to fall, he quickly set up his hammock and tarp, making sure everything was secured against wind and moisture. Once his gear was protected, he settled in, brewed a cup of coffee, and prepared an early meal while rain tapped steadily against the shelter above. The night remained quiet until around 11:30 p.m.
I can hear you.
When he suddenly woke to the clear sound of footsteps near his hammock. The movement sounded bipedal, steady, and deliberate. Each time he checked the area with his light, nothing was visible, yet the footsteps continued. Uneasy, he spent the rest of the night alert, unable to fully relax. By morning, mist and rain still lingered across the woodland. He made a simple breakfast of oats and coffee before packing up, leaving behind only the faint, dry imprint of where his camp had been. The source of the footsteps remains unknown. It may have been a person passing through late at night, or possibly an animal whose movement sounded unusually human in the dark. What do you think was moving just outside his camp that night? Ordinary wildlife or something more unsettling? This footage comes from generic Chris, who set out on July 26, 2025 for his first solo overnight in the German woods. His plan was simple: build a tarp shelter, cook outdoors, and spend the night alone in the forest. What started as a test of endurance quickly turned into a night filled with unease.
Got myself some coffee. I'm heating up more water for my cup noodles. I don't feel it today, to be honest. For some reason I set up my whole thing, and I'm just not feeling relaxed. I'm hoping this will pass and I'll stay the night, but it's possible that I'll eat, spend a few hours, and then head back home, because there is no point for me to stay if I'm not enjoying it as much. And I'm trying to figure out what it is that makes me feel like this today. Is it the weather? It's very gloomy today. It's just, there is no sun, there is no clouds, it's just grey. There is no wind, which is great. And the place, it's a very nice place, but you can definitely tell that people have been coming here. There is a little bit of rubbish here and there. There is some sort of a smell that I can't put my finger on, but it's not a pleasant smell. It just feels like a place where people go to get drunk, set up fire, and then leave the mess behind them. I'm not super happy about the location of my camp. Some people are already past me, and it's just not something. It's just, I don't know if you can hear those shouts and noises, and I think there's a dog taking a bath in the reservoir.
Chris set up his shelter using a tarp, hanging a hammock beneath it and securing everything against the rain. While checking his setup, he realized how exposed he was when strangers passed nearby with their dog.
But I can tell you what I think about the chair. I like it. It's nice. Am I still recording? Yes. It's a really nice chair. This is exactly what I wanted. I just hope it will hold my weight.
Yeah.
Hiya. So someone just passed me by with dogs. I says hi, and they don't say anything. Strange. Right.
The moment broke the sense of isolation and reminded him how vulnerable a solo camper can be. As night approached, the forest filled with unfamiliar sounds. Although he tried to convince himself they were natural, the uneasiness stayed with him. As the evening deepened, he admitted that the silence and darkness unsettled him, even at 32 years old. Wild boars were the most logical concern, but what weighed on him more was the fear of the unknown in the pitch-black forest. Later, while walking back to his car to grab his sleeping bag, something far more unsettling happened. Chris noticed the distinct scent of another person, human, unmistakable, and not his own. The realization that someone else might be nearby filled him with dread. That same feeling returned again later, as if an unseen presence was moving through the trees around him. Despite the fear, Chris continued with his plan. He prepared a simple meal, secured his tarp for the night, and forced himself to stay until morning. By dawn, he made it back to his car, safely admitting he likely would have struggled without GPS. The experience became a reminder that sometimes the most unsettling part of being alone in the wild isn't the weather or wildlife, it's the possibility that someone else might be out there too. Chris's story highlights how fragile the sense of safety can be when camping alone. A single sound, a passing stranger, or even a faint scent can shift the atmosphere instantly. Whether it was coincidence or something more, his unease came from a deeply human fear, not knowing who or what might be just out of sight. Would you have stayed the night like Chris did, or left the moment you felt like someone else was out there watching?